Footsteps echo in the hollow night. Street lights flicker like they're scared of the fight. In my chest, a fire, no peace to find, the beast inside it claws my mind. Crimson shadows dance in my head, a thousand screams of words left unsaid. I walk the line where the living dread. One step closer, the hunger's fed. Mirror cracked, my reflection's alive. Eyes like razors cutting the sky. Fingers twitching, my hands are tied. But the urge is a flood I can't deny. Crimson shadows dance in my head, a thousand screams of words left unsaid. I walk the line where the living dread. One step closer, the hunger's fed. Whispers crawl like snakes in my brain. Every heartbeat pounding like rain. Is it madness or just my chain? The desire rises, sweet and insane. Crimson shadows dance in my head, a thousand screams of words left unsaid. I walk the line where the living tread. One step closer, the hunger's fed.
All right, all right, all right. Happy Tuesday evening, everybody. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. If you haven't been here before, thank you so much for being here. And if you have been a returning person, thank you so much for coming and spending your evening with me. I know there's countless other places that you could be, but you chose to be here. And no, it's not Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. It is actually November 4th, 2025. And let me see if I can. Well, I won't be able to edit that unless I go out. Oh, well. People will realize the mistake, anyways. Well, I thought I'd get on here and do this live because I haven't really done a live lately. I've kind of been doing uploads, even though I enjoy lives and I enjoy the chat, but it is what it is. I think tonight I thought I'd get on here. I wouldn't do any Idaho stuff because I'm kind of Idaho'd out. After going through all those documents, it really wears you out. And I'm really not really a fan of that case anymore. I'll do whatever I need to do whenever I have people that want to discuss that case. It's not a problem, but it's not one of my favorites to discuss anymore because there's so much surrounding that case. But let's get to this. Let's talk about the woman that doesn't even realize her killer is behind her. Let me go ahead and put this up on the panel. This is a content disclaimer that everything that I'm doing about this video is merely for educational purposes only. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm giving commentary on this video that was presented before on YouTube. So, good evening. Here we go with the case. Thank you for being here.
This footage hides a disturbing secret. It was recorded in Orlando, Florida on October 17, 2015. The girl you see running here is 27-year-old Sasha Samsuddian. The man following her is 33-year-old Stephen Duxbury. He is the building's security guard, but he's not here.
And let's stop it right there, because how many times do these people abuse their authority? You know, I want you to know that I am not one of these people that defend individuals that misuse their power or misuse the badge. And obviously, this person right here is going to use that security guard position not to do good, but to be implicated in something possibly more sinister.
To protect her. Mere hours after this was recorded, Sasha was found murdered in her apartment.
Suspicious death of a 27-year-old Orlando woman. Sasha Samsuddian's body was found Saturday night inside of her apartment at Uptown Place.
In the days following the murder, the detectives questioned Sasha's closest friends and family, desperately searching for her killer. Little did they realize, the one responsible had been right in front of them the whole time. And if they didn't act quickly, he might strike again.
And once again, you know, people ask that various question about what makes individuals not aware of their surroundings. Like, he walked in, he had to know that there was a camera there. He had to know that he was going to be captured on camera and that he was possibly going to be the last person seen with Sasha. So think about that a little bit. In everything what we discovered and discussed in these cases that we discuss on this channel, I always talk about the guilty mindset or the mens rea, the mindset of the individual when they're about to commit a crime. So obviously, if he is so fixated on his victim, everything around him doesn't seem to bother him because he doesn't realize that is any of importance. He's on a mission.
The person who's supposed to take care of her is the person who killed her.
It was almost like out of a scene of a horror movie.
Did you enter Sasha's apartment that night?
The year is 2015. 27-year-old Sasha Samsuddian works as a social media manager for a real estate agency in Orlando. She uses social platforms to link apartment seekers with various housing communities.
You want me to start talking? Ready to go? Yeah. Hey guys and girls, I'm Sasha here. I don't know what I'm sorry. It's okay.
Sasha's beautiful. She just has a unique look to her, and her smile would light up a room.
I think a lot of people underestimated Sasha. They would see a pretty face. I don't think that they understood just how smart she was.
On October 7th,
You know, it's terrible that a lot of times these individuals, they get taken from their prime too early. Good evening to you both. I hope you are doing well. You know, Sasha obviously had a promising future ahead of her, and this was the last evening of her life, and she didn't even realize it. And that's one thing that I want to stress to people is never take a moment of your surroundings or your life for granted, because as we see in many of these cases, you don't know that in a couple of hours you're not going to be alive anymore. And Sasha was just one of many that was living her best life before it was tragically turned for the worse.
17th, Sasha is all set to attend the last home soccer game of the season with her friend Anthony. After the final whistle, they head back to the bars at Wall Street Plaza to celebrate the win and have some fun.
We felt like letting our guard down and just having a good time. Sasha, who's always dancing, always the life of the party, she got along with everybody.
You look around and there's drinks, there's men trying to meet women, women trying to meet men. This is just another night on the town for this group.
After several hours of dancing, around 12:30 a.m., Sasha decides to go back to her apartment. A little while later, Anthony chooses to call it a night and heads home as well. Little does he realize, this is the last time he sees Sasha alive.
And as we know in this true crime community, we understand that people are living their lives, and most of the time, we don't realize that this could be the last phone call, the last text message, because our homes are supposed to be our safe solace from the harms of society. But what if that safety zone is being patrolled by someone who is the predator?
I sent her a text message asking if she was okay. I didn't hear back, so I assumed that she was hungover, still sleeping.
Sasha is someone who's always active on social media, constantly posting. But today, there's nothing, which is totally unlike her. Worried, Anthony decides to bring along two of her friends to check on her at her apartment and make sure everything is fine. Once they arrive at the parking garage, they notice Sasha's car parked in its usual spot.
She was supposed to go to a baby shower that day, and we noticed that the gift was still in the back of the car. It was at that point where I started getting really suspicious that something was very wrong.
They choose to knock on her door, but no one responds. Growing concerned, they quickly dial 911.
I need to fill out a missing persons report.
Where are you right now?
We're at her apartment at 911 North Orange Avenue. Her name is Sasha Samsudin. I last saw her at 1 in the morning.
I mean, see, her friends were mindful enough to know that the gifts were still in the vehicle. She wasn't answering texts, but they're not young adults either. These individuals look later in their 20s. They have life experiences behind them. They're not like some of these other cases that we hear about where people criticize so harshly about them not calling 911 to have their missing people start to be looked for, because as we know, the first 48 hours is the most crucial.
Is this peculiar for her? Has she not done this before? Is she suicidal? Do you think she would hurt herself or others?
Absolutely not.
I'd let them know that we called every hospital, called every jail, that we went to her door to go knocking, that we saw her car.
When officers from the Orlando Police Department arrive at her apartment, they find no signs of forced entry. The door appears completely intact, equipped with both a standard key lock and a digital lock. After some time, the officers gain access using the digital code provided by the unit's owner. Two officers enter and begin their search for Sasha within the apartment. As one of them steps into the master bedroom, something catches his eye, a hand sticking out from under the comforter. Sasha Samsudin has been murdered.
Everybody is considered in the arena of possible suspects until we can identify who the...
And see, these are some of the crime photos, okay? So let's take a minute to really look at these, okay? Let me go forward. As you can look, if you walk in, you take this photo. If you followed true crime at any point in your history of being online, especially on YouTube, you realize that crime scene photos are very important right off the bat, because a lot of times crime scene photos are not in the investigative process right off the bat, because as we've known with other cases, you know, there's a lot that goes into the investigative process. It isn't just a photo, it isn't just a video. So if you walk in here and you're looking around and you don't know what you're looking for, this doesn't look like a crime scene. It looks like somebody's apartment that is very neat and very tidy. So you can see kind of like a tablet or a laptop over here. You see something on the counter. You see some kind of, I don't know what this would be, like a monitor or something. You see a refrigerator looking thing, the TV stand, and another candle and some kind of utensil over here. So you look at this and you wonder, okay, is there really a crime that has been committed? because it doesn't look like it. You don't see blood. You don't see any kind of points of entry that have been disturbed. The windows are intact. It doesn't look like a struggle happened in here. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so he talks. So let's go back to that one and we'll go on.
The primary and true suspect is.
Okay, as we keep going around the apartment, you're looking here to see if there's any kind of struggle, any kind of blood. What you do see is what it looks like, a beer bottle right here. It looks like a long lighter. It's a very well kept looking apartment. You don't see a lot of struggle, a lot of any kind of blood or anything like that. So it's not like you're anticipating a murder once you walk in, but you see her hand sticking out from beneath the comforter.
We're waiting for.
So here's the comforter, and obviously her hand or whatever, if she's still under there. I don't know if she's still under there, but even if you look at this, do you see any blood? You see signs of a struggle? No, you don't. You know, you don't see any kind of anything knocked over. You don't see anything like that. It just looks like the comforter has been wrapped up, and you don't see any blood. But doesn't mean there's not any blood. There's not any seminal fluid, anything like that beneath the comforter. But at first glance, in this community, we often wonder, well, what are they trying to hide? They're covering up everything. Well, no, they're not covering up anything. Because if you're looking at this with the naked eye, would you believe that this was an active crime scene, knowing what you know now? Probably not.
The response from the officers to see if they found her inside of her apartment. And just based on the body language of the officer that was approaching me, I knew right away. The emotions were a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Sasha's mom, Tara, texted me that morning and told me that Sasha was gone, that Sasha had died. It didn't seem real at first. I thought, surely this is not what I think it is.
Back at the apartment, the CSI team and detectives rush to examine the scene. They search carefully for DNA, fingerprints, and anything that seems off.
And see, there they are searching for the DNA. They're searching for blood spattered or searching for any kind of fibers. And you're so right, Chief Shay. The CSI side of things is much more in depth than people think. You're right on that. And usually this is the portion where they're dressed all in white. The people that are not dressed all in white are not necessarily the ones investigating the crime per se. They're not the forensic people that are clipping things and gathering things, putting them in little canisters so they can be analyzed later on.
They realize that Sasha's purse, phone, and key fob have disappeared. They notice clear marks on her neck, pointing out that she was strangled. With no clear reason for such injuries, homicide detectives step in. As soon as they step inside the apartment, a strange smell hits them.
There was an unusual smell of cleaning supplies.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at that for a minute. There's cleaning supplies. And as we've known in the true crime community, once you smell a strong scent of bleach or some kind of other smells, you realize that something's been cleaned up. In other crimes, there's been accusations of a cleanup, but nowhere has it been noted that you smelled any kind of cleaning products in the air. In this one, they noticed bleach. They noticed the cleaning supplies out on the counter. So what would that automatically tell them? Look, something had been cleaned up here.
There was an open door to one of her cupboards where cleaning supplies were.
See, it looks like the cupboards have been opened. There's cleaning supplies under there. They've been taken out. And she's a female. What looks wrong in this picture? If she lived alone, what do you notice in that picture that would not be right? Y'all tell me in the chat. because I noticed it right off the bat. I don't know if you see it, but you tell me. There you go. The seat is up. So that seat being up would be odd for a woman who lives alone, would it not? That means that a man most likely used that toilet.
Kept. One of the things that is suspicious about smelling cleaning supplies on someone is that chemicals like bleach can destroy
And see, there's the Lysol, the Clorox, and they obviously left this open.
DNA evidence.
They step into the bathroom where the
And before we go on, if you're looking at this with the naked eye, what do you see? If you're a crime scene investigator and you watch true crime more often than not, what do you notice is on this floor? You notice what? These aren't latent because we know that latent shoe prints don't leave prints like this. You can't see latent shoe prints and with the naked eye. So you see the shoe prints and they look kind of muddy, right? And there might be like a Q-tip or something right there, but you see a lot of muddy shoe prints, meaning that whoever was in here had something on the bottom of their shoes that once they cleaned this up, it left markings of their boots or whatever it might have been. Let me keep going.
toilet seat lid is up. Under it, they discover 2 severed fingertips. Partial shoe prints mark the floor, but there's no evidence of a break-in. This leads them.
Okay, so 2 severed fingerprints. 2 severed fingerprints. So let me back that up just a second because I got a text as that was going on. As he said there, the toilet seat was up, and under the toilet seat, what did they find?
Under it, they discover 2 severed.
So they found 2 severed fingerprints under the toilet seat. So that would tell you that the individual who lifted this toilet seat up, and these fingerprints are probably the perpetrator or somebody close to the crime.
Fingertips. Partial shoe prints mark the floor, but there's no evidence of a break-in. This leads them to think that Sasha may have let someone in, or the person had their own way inside. When the medical examiner arrives, they carefully pull back the comforter, fully revealing the condition of Sasha's body.
Based on her pants being gone, her underwear being gone, and her top being torn, now you stop thinking about property crimes because of her phone and her keys and start thinking about a violent crime or a sexual crime.
So you look at those objects, and many times people ask, well, how do they know it's not a sexual assault? How do they know it's not a rape? Well, he just told you one of the ways that they do know. The pants were gone, the underwears were missing. Her cell phone, her keys, and her wallet were also gone. So was this a robbery, or was it made to be looked like a robbery? So that was that the red herring? You know what I mean?
At this point in time, we are beyond understanding that she is just deceased and have a lot more cause to believe that she was killed.
Sasha's body arrives at the medical examiner's lab, where it undergoes an autopsy and deeper investigation. Meanwhile, detectives turn their attention to tracking down potential suspects. Since there are no signs of forced entry, they begin by looking at Sasha's inner circle. Their first step is bringing Anthony Roper in for questioning.
Let's talk about the last time you saw her. When was that?
At 12:30 in the morning, October 17th. We were at Attic nightclub. It was crowded, it was hot, so she told me she was leaving. The last time I saw her.
How long did you stay out?
Stayed out till that place closed, 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning. Where did you go after that?
We walked from the attic to my place.
When was the last time you were in Sasha's apartment?
Let's say 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, like I always tell you, the police are not looking to make this man a suspect. These questions are being asked to eliminate him from being a suspect. I always say that in my lives, and I hope that catches on one day, that they're trying to eliminate the suspect rather than make him the suspect because he was a close friend of hers. It's more than obvious to look at the people that are closest to the victim. You know what I mean?
Did you ever come back here last night once she wasn't responding? Okay.
The detectives must verify his account to rule him out as a suspect. After confirming his story, their focus shifts to the building's security system. The guard on duty mentions that multiple surveillance cameras cover the premises, with cameras positioned at every entrance, exit, and along the stairwells. But before reviewing the footage, they question him to see if he noticed anything unusual during his shift that night.
She was trying to get into the building while I was doing a perimeter patrol, and she didn't have any ID or her key fob that would have allowed her to gain access into the building.
So what happens then?
She was still kind of fumbling around with the call box while I was talking to two ladies, and another gentleman came up and buzzed himself in, and she went in after him. Eventually, she did make it to her apartment, and she was trying to use the digital key number, but it wasn't working. And at this point, I'm like, I gotta keep doing my job and gotta do another sweep. When I came back, she wasn't there.
With a new possible lead, the police request access to the guard's home, so the Orlando Police Department can collect a pair of his shoes. He agrees, but after careful examination, the shoes are ruled out as a match to the prints found in her apartment.
Oh, so the prints are ruled out. The prints are ruled out. So we've seen where prints play a pivotal role in catching a perpetrator. Those prints on the floor did not look like the prints on the bottom of these sneakers, so they were ruled out. Let's see exactly what happens next.
While waiting for the building's CCTV footage to arrive, investigators shift their focus to Sasha's route home from the nightclub. They know that she left the club around 12:30 a.m.
Eventually, the iris cameras were able to pick up Miss Samsudeen because she was wearing white pants that evening. It didn't appear that there was anybody that was following her. She appeared to be alone.
They continue to watch the video.
And for those of you that have followed true crime for a little bit, that is called canvassing the neighborhood for video cameras so that you have video footage of the victim to see if somebody is following them or if they have something happen along the way that could possibly point to a pivotal suspect.
That's when they notice something strange.
You see Sasha running. There was actually a glitch in the system that lost visual footage of Sasha for approximately 6 seconds. When we could finally re-catch Sasha's image, you see her walking casually with two women.
The detectives need to track down these two women, hoping they can provide more information. They waste no time and share the case with the public. As soon as the story hits the local news, it rapidly spreads, capturing attention across the nation and making headlines worldwide.
Sasha's murder was the top story in Orlando. It was everywhere.
At last, the media spotlight brings results. Two young girls who recognized Sasha on the news step forward. They are taken to the police station for an interview.
Just know her? Or
No, we were downtown on Friday night, but as we were leaving, saw her walking by herself, and was very concerned, just because she seemed extremely intoxicated. And there was a car of men who had rolled down their window and started to talk to her. I walked up and kind of took her arm and said, like, do you know where you're going? And you could tell she didn't really know what was going on.
Seeing that she had too much.
I mean, we hear that all the time. It looks like they're intoxicated. It looks like they had too much to drink. You also have to ask yourself, are any of these women being overserved on purpose? You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times in this true crime community, we see where people have left a bar and next thing they're found in a lake. You know, so you have to ask yourself, are they being overserved? Are they being drugged? What could be the coincidence of her looking way too intoxicated? Let's find out.
To drink, they invited her to join them in the Uber. She didn't have her ID or phone with her, but they could tell she needed some help then.
You guys did bring her back up to the...
So we get to the red light at Orange and Marks, and she, as soon as the car stopped, she like left out of the car and ran across the street to Uptown Place. So she's like, this is where I live. We're like, oh, well then that's perfect. Like, she didn't remember enough to tell us, but she recognized it when she saw it.
Once they arrived at Sasha's building, they hopped out of the Uber and helped her make her way to her apartment.
See, that's awesome that there's a camera right there, right in front of the entrance. But like the security guard said, she didn't have her key fob. She didn't have the ability to get in. She had to wait for somebody to come in and buzz himself in before she could follow the next to him.
Sasha headed straight for the keypad, searching for her name on the screen. At that moment, the security guard suddenly appeared at the entrance.
What Julie and Haley told the police did actually line up with Stephen Duxbury's statement that they were all there trying to get Sasha in. She couldn't find her phone to call herself. She didn't have a key fob. The last time Haley and Julie see Sasha is after she kind of scampers in after the other resident opens the gate.
Following this, the detectives managed to obtain the building's CCTV footage. They begin their investigation by examining the footage from the entrance cameras.
The way these video cameras worked is they were triggered by motion. So the first relevant footage from the cameras inside of the Uptown Place is at about 1:46 in the morning.
On the surveillance video, you can hear an unknown male voice asking her whether or not she's okay, and her answering back that she was. The next...
Okay, so if you're looking at this as an investigator, is this something that you need to find out who this male is? Or do you just take it as, well, this individual followed her in, he probably has nothing to do with the crime? I want you to think about that for a minute, because as we're looking at this case, I hope that you're understanding, we're looking at this as if it just happened, okay? So we're able to see the movements on camera. We're able to see her with the time as she's walking in, and she's obviously intoxicated. A man walks in after her, asks her if she's okay, and let's see what happens next.
This bit of footage showed her entering a stairwell a couple of minutes later at about 1:48 and going up the stairs. And with the audio, particularly in a cement stairwell, you could really hear her flip-flops.
In the video, it seems Sasha is walking alone, with no one following her. At precisely 2:06, a second camera inside the building captures her again. But this time, she can be seen running. As the footage progresses, a familiar face appears.
Okay, so from 1:49 to 2:06, she was calmly walking up the stairs, and now at 2:06, she's seen running up the stairs. Okay, so look who it is. Look who it is that's caught on camera. Was she running from him because she was scared? Or was he being, the operative word, creepy?
It's Stephen Duxbury, the building's security guard. In his interview, Stephen explained that he caught up with Sasha and offered assistance, suggesting they headed to her apartment. According to him, Sasha believed her keys were left in her.
Okay, let's look at those shoes. Those are the shoes that they said that they cleared him on, right? But those don't look like the same shoes. We'll have to go back and look at those shoes, but I don't believe that those are the same shoes. They don't look like it, but they definitely look like the pair of shoes that would make dark markings on a wood floor. Let's find out.
Car. So, detectives switch over to the footage covering the parking garage to verify his story.
At 2:25, the pair are seen walking towards the first floor parking garage. This corroborates the security guard's story that he's helping Sasha find her key fob.
The police confirm his story and turn their attention to the building's resident, who opened the door for Sasha. This resident, identified as Todd Miller, is soon brought in by detectives for questioning.
I was out with some cousins at a bar, came home, and there were some people at the door. Okay. They were cute. I said, all right, let them in. One went my direction, the others went, I think, the other direction. One girl was pretty drunk, and then I got in my elevator, and I never saw him again.
And that's what's interesting too, is what made Sasha go up the stairs? Why didn't she go up the elevator? You get what I'm saying? It's like I was just thinking that as she was going up the stairs. If you're that intoxicated, wouldn't you wait on the elevator? I didn't even know if there was an elevator, but that man confirmed it that there was an elevator. So what caused her to run up the stairs rather than go up the elevator?
Did you leave at any point later on that night?
Yes, sir.
The detectives rewind the footage once more. Right after Todd lets Sasha in, they part ways, each heading in different directions. With this, the detectives rule out Todd as a suspect and continue with their investigation. So far, the detectives confirmed alibis for Anthony's friends from the bar and investigated everyone Sasha interacted with earlier that day. Digital crime experts attempt to retrieve her phone records, but their efforts come up short. They do, however, recover her iPad, but it's secured with a pin.
So why would she be running if the security guard was after her or right behind her, not far from her? What would cause her to be running up the stairs like that? And there's her iPad. And like he just said, it was secured with the password.
After some effort, they finally unlock the device, allowing them to dive into the data within.
Once we were able to get into that system, we found out that the iPad had been synced with her iPhone. And I was able to locate the last communication that she transmitted at 5:12 in the morning, which was to Ben Robach. She simply sent the name Ben to that contact.
I'm in jail. They keep jail closed. Are you cold? You okay?
I'm alright. It's a little chilly in here.
It is chilly. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
How do you know?
We went to high school together. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for a couple years back in college, and still friends and acquaintances up until she died, passed away.
What was your relationship prior to her death?
Yeah, I mean, we'd hang out every so often. You know, we'd meet up, downtown somewhere and hang out and grab a drink. She'd come over sometimes. You know, if I was having a tough day, she'd give me some advice, and we'd hang out and talk. And so we were close friends. She was there to support me when I needed it, and vice versa. So.
When was the last time you seen her?
I saw her Thursday night. We went out downtown.
Ben claims they texted until around 1 a.m. on the night she passed away. Then, at exactly 5:12 a.m., a new message appeared on his phone with a single word: Ben.
And then I responded about 16 minutes later, and I never heard back from her after that.
Why did you ask if she was okay?
Just because, she said my name and just my name, and that's not typical for her to just say Ben. Like, I want to make sure, and it's late, maybe she's been drinking. Want to make sure if she needs a ride or something, I can, get her home safely if I can. But
So if you're looking out for somebody's safety and you're looking out for them to be, it makes you wonder, well, they just sent my name. Wouldn't you call this person? I understand this is a different generation. A lot of people don't make phone calls anymore. But to be texting and you're concerned about somebody, if they don't answer me in a text, I call them within a couple of minutes.
I checked on her just because it's what we do for each other.
Ben responded to Sasha's message with a text, but began to feel uneasy when she didn't reply. The next day, Anthony called Ben, sounding concerned, and asked if he had any idea where Sasha might be. This lines up with what Anthony told the detectives. At the end of questioning, the detectives request a DNA sample from Ben.
Do you have any problem giving us a buccal swab?
I'm sorry?
A buccal swab?
What's that?
It's like a DNA swab.
Oh man, I've been mispronouncing that this whole time. I've been calling it a buccal swab. It's a buccal swab. So now I feel like an idiot. It's a buccal swab, not a buccal swab. Okay, so they're getting a DNA from the potential person, not to make him a suspect, but to eliminate him from suspicion.
Swab of your inside of your mouth.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Okay.
I'm just happy to help in any way I can.
We appreciate that.
We do appreciate it. No, but prostate cancer runs in my family, so.
Just gonna relax your lips there a little bit.
You don't need to photograph anything.
No.
Okay.
That was simple. I'm glad you took the time to come here, save us some time. We have a long night tonight.
I hear you.
Thank you, young man.
Absolutely.
I'll walk you down.
Okay, appreciate it.
He's out. And Ben Roebuck was able to be eliminated. His DNA and fingerprints didn't match the fingerprints and DNA that were recovered in her apartment and on her.
Following this, the detectives turned their attention to Sasha.
And see, one thing I want to say, and I know I keep talking, but I don't know this presenter who made this video. And the last thing I want to do is get copyrighted. But I want you to know that a lot of people don't understand that as far as DNA. Kind of like with the case, you find it under one person's fingernails, but you don't find it anywhere else in the house, not on any of the other victims. So that normally tells you that that person's DNA that was under those fingernails, chances are, was not in the house. And people have a problem with that because they think, well, there was an unknown DNA found under fingernails. How come they never followed up on that? How come they never looked any further? It's because I'm sure they never found another unknown DNA that would have been the same type of DNA. Does that make sense? Like he just said, you know, they were trying to match this DNA to other DNA found in the house. And this was not a match.
Sasha's ex-boyfriend, Taylor Unsinger, hoping he might provide more details about Sasha.
Prior to dating, did you guys know each other?
For probably about a month, we knew each other before we actually started dating.
Okay. Was it a serious relationship?
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
Okay.
When did you guys break up?
End of March.
This year?
Yes.
Okay, so end of March 2015. That time, did she see anybody else?
We didn't she didn't really share any, you know, information about who she was dating or who she was seeing.
Okay. How did you feel about that?
That was fine with me. It's, you know, her personal life at this point. I mean, we were, you know, not together anymore.
Understand.
So we weren't exclusive or anything like that. So.
For 2 years, Taylor and Sasha were a couple, but their relationship ended in March. Detectives need to know Taylor's whereabouts on the night of the crime, so he shares his account with them.
Do you know where you were last Saturday?
Last Saturday?
Yes.
I was at work.
Okay.
In the morning or?
Around 1 o'clock in the morning.
Say late Friday evening or early Saturday morning?
I was home. I got off of work Friday night at about 9:30. I had bartended because there were some bartenders that needed to take some time off, so I picked up a shift for them and I went home. And
do you have any problem giving us a buccal swab of DNA?
I have no problem.
Okay.
The police send the swab.
So once again, there's another buccal swab. Two different people given buccal swabs. So as we've seen in lab report, these buccal swabs are routinely ran to make a profile. An STR would be a male profile. So the DNA that they found at this murder scene, they're looking to see if any of these people they're talking to matches that DNA. So here we go.
From the buccal for analysis, and immediately start looking into Taylor's alibi. His story holds up, and the lab confirms his DNA doesn't match. With no further leads linking him to the case, the police rule Taylor out as a suspect.
Investigators are getting really frustrated. They keep getting doors open, but these doors are leading nowhere. It's almost like they've come full circle and they're right back to where they started from on Saturday night and Sunday morning.
And another thing, unknown does not necessarily mean that they don't eventually know whose DNA that is. If they go that length of time to go and do the whole genealogy, or wait until that person commits a crime and gets put in CODIS. Usually it's unknown because they run it through CODIS. If CODIS doesn't hit, then more than likely it's unknown, because most people that commit crimes or have been in jail or prison are put in the CODIS system.
Each passing hour, the chances of catching the killer grow slimmer. So far, detectives have questioned several suspects, went through security footage repeatedly, but they still come up empty-handed. But then, on the third day after the murder, The account of one of Sasha's neighbors changes everything.
I know something's wrong. It's Monday morning. When I wake up, I turn on the news, and I saw about Sasha Sansodini's dead in her apartment. Then I'm thinking, I gotta tell somebody, I gotta talk to somebody. Maybe the police can help with the investigation if I say something. The police asked me to do a statement, and I say yes.
Clayton recalls spotting Sasha early Saturday morning, close to 2 a.m., on the building's 4th floor. That night, he headed out to take care of his laundry. As he moved down the hallway, he heard some footsteps. First, he caught sight of Sasha, and then, roughly 10 feet behind her, walked the security guard.
He looked at you? Yeah, he looked at me. Did he say anything to you? No, just looked at me and continued following her. Did you see anybody else in the hallway at that time? No, nobody at all.
I told the police.
So the fact that Sasha is in that stairwell by herself and this guy is following her, you don't think that's a little suspicious? I believe that's a lot suspicious.
He knows something. He knows something.
The detectives decide to re-examine the CCTV footage, determined to uncover any overlooked details. After reviewing hours of the surveillance video, they make a big discovery. Duxbury reported clocking out at 6 a.m., but the footage at 6:39 a.m. reveals him carrying 2 large garbage bags. The detectives immediately recognize these bags from Sasha's apartment.
Okay, so once again, you see these bags in her apartment, and he's carrying them. What the hell is he doing with them? Why would he be carrying out garbage bags? We know in true crime that this is always a red flag, right? We all know that. Anytime you're caught carrying trash bags, big old totes, or anything else, you're trying to get rid of evidence most often, or you're moving.
They then check into Duxbury's work records to determine if such behavior is typical for him.
We could see that that was not a normal pattern. Stephen would photograph the trash that was left outside the tenants' apartments and put that in his report because that was a violation of the rental agreement that you can't leave trash outside your apartment.
When reviewing all of his security reports.
So let's review here. You saw a cleaning solution on the counter. You saw the toilet seat put up. They found 2 fingerprints under the toilet seat part. There was no sign of a struggle, possible sexual assault. Her pants were missing, her undergarments were missing, and she'd been strangled. So that is the breakdown of the crime scene.
Reports, what it showed was that he did not take people's trash out. He wrote people up for leaving their trash out.
Investigators believe security guard Stephen Duxbury may be connected to Sasha's murder. They ask Duxbury if he wants to submit to a polygraph test. Determined to prove his innocence, he agrees.
And so, when was the first time you found out that she was deceased? It was later on that evening. About what time? I honestly don't remember. I remember them saying that they, initially when they told me something was going on, they said, well, we have a crime scene. That's all we're telling you.
The details of how Sasha died are not known to the public. Authorities have never revealed that Sasha was strangled. At this stage, there is no way Duxbury should have any knowledge of that fact if he isn't the killer.
Was she shot with a .22? No. Was she stabbed? No. Was she choked? No. Was she shot with a .38? No. Was she hit with a hammer? No. Was she hit with a chair? No. Okay.
When someone reacts on a polygraph test to a particular question, that would indicate that there's stress pertaining to that question. When it came time to score the polygraph charts, I had printed out each chart and laid them out before Stephen Duxbury. And I had him assist me in scoring these charts, which was amazing.
That's what I can tell you. And that's all I can tell the detectives, that there is something there that you're not being 100% honest about. Now,
And you know what? Now we're getting to the intent, and we might even get to the motive. It says here, now has she invited you in for a few drinks? Let's see what the security guard says.
Invited you in to have a few drinks or something like that, or whatever it was, you need to be honest about it, because this is saying you know something and that something happened. 0.003% chance that the result was produced by a truthful person.
Wow.
0.003% chance that you were truthful in this test today.
After reviewing the polygraph results, the detectives' turn come in the room and ask Stephen to recount again what happened.
So, she wasn't flirting with me. I mean, other than, leaning against me in the hallway because she could barely stand. But she wasn't flirting with me. She never flirted with you. She never asked you to come inside the apartment. I take my job seriously, and when my job says I'm allowed to go into someone's apartment, I am going to someone's apartment. The only time I would ever go into someone's apartment is with a detective like yourself, or a police officer, or an EMT or something, someone that I have to go in with because, doing something within my duties.
As the detectives continue pressing Stephen with questions about his lies, he requests a lawyer, forcing the interview to come to an end. The polygraph results lead to the approval of a search warrant for his home. Inside, they discover a pair of shoes belonging to Duxbury. The shoes match the prints taken from Sasha's apartment, confirming—
There they are. There they are right there. Those other person's shoes weren't a match, but these bad boys are. Look at that. So what do you think about that as far as shoe impressions? I think they're freaking awesome to have shoe impressions because they eliminate or they incriminate a lot of different people. So those are the killer's shoes, and those are his. As we saw in that CCTV footage, he was indeed wearing those type of sneakers.
their suspicions.
But earlier they said that this shoe didn't match up with that. I don't know why they said earlier it didn't match up, but now they're saying that these are the shoes. But obviously they got it wrong earlier because now they're saying that these are the shoes. And as you can see on these shoes, you can see a little bit of kind of looking stuff on the bottom of the shoes. I don't know if that's blood. I mean, they did walk across a parking garage. So think of all the stuff that's on a garage floor. You know, you have tire residue, you have all kinds of residue, you know, the residue from the emissions, all that stuff. So it makes sense that when they found that in the bathroom or wherever that was, all over the floor, that would make sense why he would have it on the bottom of his feet, because he was always doing rounds around his apartment.
However, the discovery on his phone turns out to be the key piece of evidence.
It was Stephen Duxbury's intent to get rid of the history on his phone.
There's that word, intent. It was his intent to get rid of the history.
But I was able to get what's called a physical extraction, so I've got all the information that was stored on his memory chip. I found multiple internet searches related to the QuickSet digital deadbolt, which is the same digital keypad system that are on the doors of all the apartments within the Uptown apartment complex.
One of the final searches is for the override code to a QuickSet digital deadbolt just moments before Sasha is killed.
And these searches were done all within a 10-minute window right around 5 in the morning on the morning of the 17th when Sasha was murdered.
On October 30th,
so he knew that she was intoxicated. She probably woke up during the attack, started screaming, he panicked, started choking her, and killed her. That would be my impression.
2015, just 2 weeks after Sasha's passing, authorities take Stephen Duxbury into custody, charging him with first-degree murder and attempted sexual assault. Investigators collect a DNA sample from Duxbury, which matches unidentified DNA discovered on Sasha Samsuddian's chest. His trial starts in November 2017. After 7 days, the jury ultimately finds Duxbury guilty on all counts. He receives 2 life sentences.
Look at that. She fought back. She fought back. Those are defensive wounds on him right there. I mean, she fought back. Wow.
Sentences, with an extra 15 years added to his punishment.
The way I presented the evidence to the jury at trial was very chronological. It was fantastic to have all that video to help tell the story of where she was and when downtown. And then it paints the picture of all of her movements inside of the apartment complex. It's just a tragic story of somebody who invaded somebody else's personal space in the most awful way and then took that person's life.
I still talk about Sasha, and I remember having a dream, and in the dream it was so real, and I remember her just giving me this sense that she's okay, and I think that's been important to me. That I know that I'll see her again one day, and that she's okay, and that she's still there with us.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. What do y'all think about this case? I know that y'all been chatting it up. Thank you so much for being in here tonight with me and spending some time with me, because I know that this isn't the Idaho. This isn't the Idaho case that everybody's wanting to continue to talk about. But as you know, as what we just talked about, look at all the similarities in these crimes and how individuals can honestly make up their own conclusion once they know what they're looking for. I mean, this guy may have not even been he may have not even intended to do any of that. You know what I mean? He may have not even intended to kill her, but the situation presented itself and he took advantage of it and he killed it. He killed her, which is very sad. And one thing that we must understand is things happen so quickly, so quickly, that these crimes aren't in slow motion. They are not in slow motion. They happen within a matter of minutes, matter of seconds, and somebody's gone. You know what I mean? That's interesting to ask. I don't know if he did or not. If he did, they would have been a month old by the time they got to him. So the last I heard is he had a cut on his finger that was in healing. So just never know. But thank you so much for spending your Tuesday evening with me. I hope this is just a precursor of how things are going to go on this channel from here on out. And I hope that you tell people that this is the place where we actually break down crimes and talk about them like I did tonight, because it puts a spin on the true crime that's happening with the victim in mind and the perpetrator in mind and the investigative process, not just one opinion of my own or the chats. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. And like I always say, stay safe out there, and always watch your six. My name is 12 Gauge. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to put this back up here. I'm going to give it a couple seconds so that this stays up here. This is for the Feed More Food Bank. And this next one is for breast cancer. So the American Cancer Society. So if you decide to go to either one and donate, feel free to do so. That is the Feed More one. And this is for the American Cancer Society. So I hope that you know they're both for a good cause and I'm not getting a kickback or any of it. So try to remember that there are people out there that are in need. And even if you can donate a penny, 5 cents, 10 cents, that does add up, and it doesn't go to this channel. It goes directly to the website. So I have nothing to do with it. Thank you so much. My name is 12 Gauge. And like we always say, Maestro, cue that music.